Welcome aboard, game on, folks. The transfer window is closed, but we are still here at Record Sports Quickfire Hot Take Podcast. Thankfully, we've held on to Gavin Berry. Despite apparently, Gav, a big money bid came in on deadline day from one of the premium Lawns Bowls podcasts.
Is that right?
But we knocked it back. We need you here. Rumours are they offered 2 bottles of Meh down and a cream egg.
Sounds right.
I think Record Sport tried to punt me out on loan as well, but apparently they had to keep holding me because they couldn't find a replacement chubby ginger podder to get in the door on time. So we're still here, Gav. It's been a heck of a week, transfer window and the title race. Yeah. It's been something else again, hasn't it?
Yeah, and you mentioned loans, so I think that's where we'll start. Celtic transfer business, loan. In fact, I'm going to read this out because this was your wording, not mine. Celtic with a window loan a Rangers.
The loan a Rangers?
Boom, boom, loan a Rangers.
Am I getting the blame for that horrible pun?
Well, Junior Adamu, Joel Mavuka. Benjamin Arthur, and there was a couple brought in loan.
You don't try to pronounce that.
Rohl, and you can and there is talk as well of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, a huge name.
Yeah.
As we're on here, there's a possibility that could be done as well. But what do you think, Michael, about going down that road? Is it the right call?
Listen, in the circumstances, I think it's understandable given the kind of very temporary nature of everything about Celtic. They've got a temporary manager into the season in Martin Eel. They've got no head of recruitment as such or director of football. They've got an interim chairman. It's Celtic a club that's very much in a kind of limbo right now, so loan deals maybe make sense. I also think it highlights that Celtic have got a bit of performance anxiety in the transfer market. They don't trust themselves at the moment to get deals done and commit to long-term deals. I think the earlier loan deals, I think Rohl and Charanchara have looked decent. The other three that come in, big questions about them. I mean, I've got to be honest, Adamu and Mavuka are guys that probably could have been got up earlier in the window. I mean, they got the last day, which suggests that it was a kind of they weren't the first choices. They haven't had the best time of it. I think they've had previous decent experience at a decent level before. Not at a great time of it. Their current club's not played enough a lot of football. No. So
but that's what you're going to get in January.
That's what you get with loan signings, yeah.
With loan signings.
Unless you go and try to get a higher calibre loan,
yeah.
Which I thought Celtic might have tried to do it, but they've went down the kind of 23, 24-year-olds.
I mean, Rangers were praised for getting Skov Olsen.
Yeah, but the loan with a view to buy.
But why was that?
Skov Olsen's got 40 cans for Denmark. So, I mean, that's a different... I mean, I know he's not the greatest starts, but he's at a different level of pedigree. I just think that Celtic have to go for loans because there's so much uncertainty and so much confusion behind the scenes and a little bit of performance anxiety and trusting their own judgment in the window. This thing about they can't bring in permanent deals because the new manager might not like them. Any manager likes good players. A functioning system, you bring in good players. Most managers don't expect a full carte blanche to go and buy 15 players every summer. Most managers come in and say, well, this is what I've got. If you leave a manager good players, then that's no problem. So understandable, but only because of the dysfunction behind the scenes.
Michael, you mentioned dysfunction. Bring us on to the next question. Possibly the biggest headline of the transfer window for Celtic was a player that stayed rather than anybody they brought in. Nottingham Forest, 3 bids, I think. 25 million overall package was the final bid. Celtic didn't take it. Now, the board have been criticised a lot, but maybe that's some deserved praise there for not taking the money when actually, it's funny.
So they should be praised for not having the contingency plans in place to allow them to sell an asset for top money.
That's what I was
I'm not quite sure that one.
You mentioned functioning there, and you're right. Had they been fully functioning, that's what you do. You take 25 million, you've got a £10 million midfielder lined up, you go bang.
I don't you think?
Obviously very late in the window. I know it's difficult to do, but I mean, would you have taken the 25 million?
Oh, a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you said at the start, if the bid came in the first week in January, Engels would be gone because Celtic I think Celtic would be worrying about making their money back on Engels, let alone doubling their dough.
Yeah.
So to get that back, I know there would be a kickback to Augsburg as well in Germany, but to get that money, to recoup that kind of money and make a profit, I think that they snapped the hand off for it. Because of the wheels aren't turning as the way they should be at Celtic, they're not nimble enough in the market to take that money and go and get somebody else straight away.
Yeah.
I think they should have been there was talk about Engels in December from RB Leipzig in Germany and a few other clubs. Celtic should have been ready to go if that happened. Because listen, big bids come in late in the windows. That's when the big money is.
Yeah.
That's when clubs are panicking to get, and especially in England, that's when your big money comes in. So Celtic should be ready for that big money to come in for their assets. He's one of their assets. They have to keep him because they're lacking in bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have had some people lined up as a contingency that they could move late in the window if need be. I completely understand, and yeah, you're right. They could have took the money anyway and ran with Bernardo, Hatate, and McCowan and McGregor. And by the way, those guys should be enough anyway. However, so yeah, I get the point. You say right, they held firm and didn't. I mean, how much money they need, right enough in the bank. I just think that even it doesn't have to. You said £10 million player. It doesn't have to be a £10 million player.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was players in Scotland that could have got in at the start of January, and you think, you know what, if they go and get Elijah Just at Motherwell, or even Elliot Watt, the two of them, I think be cracking.
Mm-hmm.
I like Killian Phillips at St Mirren. I think that kind of tough, big, strong midfield player, go and get him at the early January, and then it allows you to say, well, you know what, if that money comes in, we can sell it and then reinvest it. But that's the big thing, reinvesting the money. Yeah. And again, it goes back to recruitment, and if Celtic are functioning properly, all this falls into place. Things are a bit disjointed at Celtic, so that they're missing out. They missed out on Dyson Maeda cashing in on him when they should have in the summer. Yeah. Because they didn't have a replacement striker. They missed out on selling Yang for £3 million to Birmingham, even though his bags were packed when they should have been sold. Yang's done okay at times this season, despite that, but still not the level that Celtic really want. Celtic need to get back to being proper functioning to allow themselves to be able to sell their assets at any point in time and have alternatives to come in. But it's going to take a lot of work behind the scenes to get back to speed. But anyway, we'll shift tact. We'll switch for City, will we? Yeah. To Rangers, 5-1 winners against Kilmarnock. I think the result, the scoreline maybe wasn't a full reflection.
Flattered them, yeah.
A wee bit. Obviously, Kilgore at 10 men, but at half time at Ibrox, 1-0 up. There was boos. There were some people, maybe a wee bit of tension in the air. I know Kilmarnock did well with 10, didn't they? At that point in time, with a few chances. Danny Rohl, he did a gentle pop at the punters, didn't he? Yeah. Is he playing a dangerous game?
Well, it is always risky. I think when the manager has a go at the fans, you're right, it was gentle. I think Danny Rohl's probably in I think when you look at the reaction, I think it shows that he's probably in a strong enough position that he can get away with it. You remember, he has, however drab the opening 45 minutes was, he has got them into a position that no fan thought they would be in, after a disastrous start to the season. So I think he's got credit in the bank. Fans aren't going to have a go at me for that. I remember Michael Beale having a go at fans when they jeered the team. I think they beat Motherwell 1-0. It was a really terrible display, and the fans were on their back. And I think he used the word, I thought the fans were harsh, or it was harsh criticism. Now, by then, the fans had gone, so it was all out. Who does he think he is? How dare he criticise us? And I think he was out the door the following week. You knew he was on the way out, so he couldn't get away with it. Yeah. Danny Rohl, I think, can get away with it. I think you have to. I think the players at Rangers and Danny Rohl will have to understand. Same as Celtic. Those are the demands. I mean, they lost in Porto, and then they followed up with a really drab display in that goalless draw against Hibs at Easter Road. So that, I think the frustration came from that. They'd gone 1-0 up very early on. And what Rangers, and this is part of the problem, is it's the fans keep waiting to see it really all clicking into gear. When we spoke last week on Game On about who we thought our title winner would be, I did say to you, I still didn't feel this Rangers team had it in them to go away to difficult venues and get a result. So the 0-0 draw wasn't a total surprise to me. Well, Motherwell on Wednesday, they go there. Same again. And I think that's what it is. It's a frustration at this, the style of play. When Rangers got back into the title race under Philip Clement, when they looked down and out, when he replaced Michael Beale, there was more excitement and a bit more energy about it, and a bit more belief. I don't think the Rangers fans have got that about this team just now.
That's also why I think I don't think it's dangerous. I think it's a smart move from Rohl to have a wee nudge at the fans. Listen, the club are trying things. You can see at the background of this campaign about staying for 90 minutes and even coming to the game. Yeah. And listen, we get it. It's not been perfect this season. There's been times, but it's been, pretty poor. But to get to this point, 3 points over the top of the title with 13 games to go, is remarkable, and they're now in great position. I think Rohl's right, because I think he's trying to mobilise the troops a wee bit and say, right, you know what, have a bit of patience. At that point in time when it's not going particularly well or it's not going great, that's when you need the fans to be on board to give them a boost, not to go on their back. Listen, it's easier said than done. You understand frustration. If it's rubbish, people go, oh, this is rubbish. Patience is out the window. I think it's post-COVID as well, for some reason. I think he's right, though. Just try to give them a wee nudge. Listen, guys, stick with us. We know it's not perfect, but we're in the fight. Give us a bit of encouragement rather than getting the backs. And listen, it can backfire. But it might make a few folk, you know what, we're not in a race we didn't expect to be in, so let's just go for it. Let's go with the flow and get behind the team. But as you touched on, Gav, this whole situation, 3 points off the top of the table. Danny Rosen backed in the transfer window in January. I mean, what 10, 11, 12 million pound now, then another 3 or 4 guaranteed for Scott Olsen if it goes through. Takes the spending up this season in general to probably over 40, 45 million quid, 50 million quid even. Not net, but in general. So is there pressure on now to deliver this title?
Oh, well, there's definitely pressure because of the position that they're in now, but I go back to, and I think it is similar to Philip Clement's situation when he arrived. All looked lost because Michael Beale had made such a bad start and Russell Martin had made worse start. But
Michael Beale only had 7 league games.
Yeah, but when Celtic get that kind of lead, when Celtic are performing as they do under Brendan Rodgers, you don't expect in Scottish football. You very rarely see it.
That's why I think the pressure is on, because this is going to be a season. If you get to 80 points, you win the league. So can you imagine how it'd be in this position now, and Rangers finishing 79 points, finish 1 point behind Hearts or Celtic? You'd be thinking, what a chance missed! What a chance missed!
Absolutely, but is there? I suppose it's two different questions. Is there pressure on him? Are you saying, if he doesn't win the league, is there then going to be pressure on his position?
I think Rangers, more than Rangers in general. I don't think it'll be on him. But if he doesn't deliver the title,
he starts next season.
I think you think, well, okay, he's had a good run, but from this position now, with 13 games to go, he's been given money. They've got momentum. I think if he doesn't win it from here, it's a bottle job. Genuinely. I mean, Hearts, I think, have been phenomenal to get to where they are. They're flying by their pants at times. They've got injuries, suspensions starting to kick in now. If they get to 80 points, you go, right, fair play, that'd be an incredible story. But I think Rangers have to get this title over the line. If they don't, Celtic had 4 managers, 2 of them the same guy.
Incredible.
Hearts came from nowhere, who really bottomed the league for half of the last season. If Rangers do not win this title, it will be the biggest opportunity missed.
You're right. Then
that'll be on the manager.
If Hearts and Rangers fail to capitalise on, the bin fire,
never get a better chance.
If he's well chopped.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
of course there is pressure. I just wasn't sure whether you meant, if he doesn't see it out, is his job under threat?
Well, I think if he doesn't see it out, the start next season, people will be thinking, you were in prime position and didn't get it finished.
But it was the exact same with Philip Clement. That was the same thing.
And he lost his job.
That's what I'm saying. He got back in. So
listen,
but he didn't get sacked
that summer. And Michael Beale both finished seasons with 90 plus points. They'd have won this league at a canter under those teams. So the advantage they've got is that the rivals aren't getting picked up the same amount of points. And I think, as I say, I think 80 points will probably do it this season. So to not do it from this stage, I think would be a major disappointment. Beyond disappointment. Anyway,
if Hearts do it, Michael, one man who won't be part of the historic title win would be James Wilson. He moved to Spurs initially on loan. Derek McInnes said that he didn't feel it was the right move. Now 77 minutes of first team football, Michael. James Wilson, teenager, 77 minutes. I don't think he started since the St Mirren game. He got hooked at half time against St Mirren. I think that was way back in August.
Right.
So you can understand probably why he has decided to go. Derek McInnes thinks, well, academy football, why would you give that, why would you give up proper men's football here and fight for your first team place to go down to play in the Premier League 2? What do you think? Do you think Derek McInnes is right? Was it the wrong move for James
Wilson? I think it's bang on. I think Derek McInnes is spot on. Yeah. Listen, I think McInnes gets a wee bit criticism sometimes about not playing as many youngsters. I think unfairly. I think these kids have to take their own responsibility. Listen, I don't blame them for hearing Spurs coming in and saying come down for 6 months and try and win a deal. I don't blame him for taking the opportunity because you think it's Spurs, it's that level. However, what has he been doing for the last 8-9 months? This is a kid that burst onto the scene in Scotland squads, looked like he's going to be the next, for our version of Michael Owen or Wayne Rooney, and then nothing. So, I mean, it's all right saying, well, the manager's no playing me. Make his mind up for him.
Exactly.
Make his mind up for him. Listen, Hearts have got, I mean, I know Kibori scored a couple of goals the other week. Had scored a goal since November. Kabangu hasn't scored a goal since October. He should be in training every day, banging the goals in training and banging the door of the manager saying, I'm here, I'm a year older, I'm ready to play. So obviously he's not impressed enough to get a game. At times when he could have got a game, not done enough. So these guys have to go and take responsibility. Listen, it's a huge opportunity for him. He can't. I mean, I think David Kess is right.
Arsenal had been sniffing around earlier. Can you imagine it on deadline day?
What, the phone goes?
18 years old.
I can't believe it. But I mean, if you're going to say to him, right, you're going down there, and if you do really well, you might want a deal there. Why have you not been doing that at Hearts for 8 months? I'm not saying the kid's not been working hard, right? But he's got talent. And you have to make the manager's mind up for him. Because the young players that make it in Scotland and anywhere in the world make it impossible not to get in the team. Because managers will always listen. Managers are cautious creatures, aren't they? They're always there. They always try and manage the risk, right? So if a kid or an experienced pro, the experienced pro, we're going to get the nod, especially if it gets tight. But if he's banging the door and you cannot ignore him, he'll get game time. So I think McInnes is bang on. Listen, I hope that he does really well, gets his deal and becomes a first team player in England, and we get a world class player for Scotland. But at this point in time, I think manager's spot on to say, you should have been staying here or maybe going to loan in Scotland. But getting games, proper men's football, rather this PL, this Premier League 2, mate. Listen, I've seen plenty of guys come from that level, and I don't care. It's not proper football.
And Michael, you don't get an option because you've got your hard-earned money to earn.
I can't get this place. I can't get
Celtic Park, Saturday tea time. You'll be there, Celtic Dundee.
Another Saturday night,
yeah. But plenty won't be there, or possibly plenty won't be there. If you join the Boycott Celtic Fans Collective, they met the day after the transfer window. I think it was always planned that they would meet after the transfer window so they could reflect on the business. They've come up with various moves to ramp up their protest against the board, one of which is to boycott the game against Dundee on Saturday. Do you think the majority of fans will get behind this move?
I don't know. I think boycotting games is quite an extreme step. I mean, this one is a game, it's not in the season ticket, it's a cup tie, so you're not going to get that big a crowd. I mean, I say in relative terms, it's not going to be a full house. You might get...
But fans not have already bought their tickets, the ones...
Possibly, yeah.
Do you think that could factor...
That might be the ones that bought tickets. Why would you boycott a game you paid 40, 50 to go to see you? Maybe go with your family, maybe a chance to... I mean, the way it is that these games got season tickets, you can't just go and walk up and buy a ticket. You might be thinking, I'm going to take my kids to the game, go as a family, and then you go, oh, by the way, we're boycotting this one. Oh, wait a minute, I penciled this in as a chance to take my kids. And so, no, I think it's a misstep. I think a bit like we're talking about the Rangers fans booing at half time against Kilmarnock. I think at some point Celtic fans have made their feelings known. The board have been getting battered all season. They know there's displeasure and anger and all that stuff. I think that's unavoidable. I just think we're now getting towards this in the season. I think the Celtic players and manager could do with some backing. Because for all the kind of nonsense this year, Celtic are still in with the chance of winning the double. Well, listen, they're still in Europe as well. And it's Martin Hill in charge. So, I mean, at some point, I think they're going to have to park all their anger. I know it's still going to be there, right? But this could end up being one of the most remarkable seasons in Celtic history. Having Martin Hill back after 20-odd years, going for a title, it might actually be, listen, dare we say it, enjoyable for them. So why not get on board and get behind it? It used to be, I don't know if it's, listen, it was back the team, sack the board. Back the team is not going to boycotting. Back the team is turning up supporting them. Listen, they can still not go to the club shops and all these things. I know they're saying that these kind of campaigns. I just think a boycott affects the team. That's a tough cup tie as well. I don't know. For me, listen, it's not for me to say what fans should do, but I just don't think it's the right way to do it.
I also think even the fans that don't agree with the board that have maybe joined in protests earlier in the season, I think they eventually reach a stage where they're just tired of it. They just want to go, and as you say, football for fans is meant to be about enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's, working all week. It's always been about, working all week and then, ending the week and going and having your downtime, going to watch your team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still the case.
Part of the enjoyment is mourning, I think, as well. Listen, we'll go to the game, come back and go out their pint, go, oh, he's rubbish. That dumpling that's played up front and all that. That's part of the sport. I mean, it doesn't have to be a protest march and a pickards out all the time. Yeah. I just think I get the frustration, but I think go and watch a game, enjoy yourself. I mean, it's a fun hobby, for goodness sake. Yeah. Listen, Celtic fans aren't particularly chuffed the fact the club spent no money in the transfer window, albeit they got their 5 loan Rangers.
So that's what not another penny means.
Aye, it's a board. Listen, there's probably loan fees in there.
I know.
Before I get myself banned.
That was just a joke.
Give me a boycott. That
was just a joke.
Aye. But who were the biggest winners in the transfer window in Scottish football? Obviously, we have to say now, but who looks on paper to be the biggest winners?
Well, I think earlier on, Michael, when you said that there's pressure on Rangers, there's probably slightly less pressure on Hearts because they're not expected really to win the league. But I think the top two, as it stands, I think Hearts and Rangers have done the best business. I think Rangers probably just edged it. We had seen two Romans until Wednesday night. He'd arrived as an injury from Belgium, but I think he looked really impressive, an upgrade in the left back position. So I think he'll be a real asset. Scott Olsen, we spoke about, he was a marquee signing. He has been very slow in the first couple of games. Obviously, he's rusty, hadn't played much. Gets his goal, well-taken goal Wednesday night. I think that will do his confidence the world, dude. I think he will eventually come good. And Chigawani in midfield has looked decent enough. And Nadiri, the striker, we don't know an awful lot about. Obviously come off the bench on Wednesday. They definitely need goals. His record suggests he can do it, albeit German third tier. But I think 4 good signings, and as we've touched on earlier with Celtic investing in the loan market, I think Hearts and Rangers are strengthening for the future, which is good. It means we've been permanent signings. They've got a better starting point in the summer when, as you say, Celtic will have to rip it all up and start again.
Yeah, we still need. Listen, I think Hearts still need to wait and see. I mean, we still need to see how Mata gets on coming in. I think he says the one for the future. Matt Leonard, I think, came in, has done well. Pretty solid signing.
Leonard was an emergency. Also, they reacted quickly.
Chester Kosikov, what's happened? Yeah. I mean, he's not quite fit and all that stuff. And that was a big. This guy's going to be something else. Yeah. Now into February. I know he did a wee holiday. He's like, well, how good was that holiday he was on? I mean, get him up to speed. He's only made one appearance so far. We're interested to see how he does. Not seen yet, so let's wait and see. So I think Hearts. I think Mull. Not because of who they signed, because of who didn't sell. I mean, I think he got. Maspanese, Just and Watt. I think are 3 really good assets.
Yeah, good shout.
And to keep hold of those 3. And this window is a great bit of business, and it keeps the Mull bandwagon going. They have been, for me, the story of the season.
Yeah.
More than Hearts. Well, okay, take that point. Hearts the story of the season. One of the major stories of the season. I think Mull, but for the budget they've got and what they're doing, the way they play the game, I must admit they're a team that I actually, even this deepest darkest winter, you see a lot of games. Listen, you know yourself. You're watching a lot of games now, and you're thinking. Tough watch. I mean, it's pretty heavy. The pitches are terrible and all that stuff. I'm watching Motherwell week in, week out, and I'm actually thinking I enjoy watching this. I watched the Kelly game the other week. Second half, some of the football we're playing, the park's not great. You think this is a team that's enjoyable to watch, who are enjoying it, and keep hold of those guys I think is tremendous business. Fair play to them.
So Motherwell kept their manager. but Livingston lost theirs. Well, I say they lost them. They didn't quite
Misplaced them.
lose them. David Martindale moved upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a great move, that, isn't it? It comes when they don't quite have they don't want to, bin the boss, so they just kind of they move them upstairs. Is that the right move, or should they? I mean, we spoke about him recently actually on here, Michael. He's in the bricks at Livingston, and this I suppose proves it.
Yeah,
and Marvin Bartley moves in, but that's the other thing. I mean, they move him upstairs, and then his assistant becomes a manager. So there'll be a lot of they'll share presumably the same ideas.
I suspect Davey himself has a lot to play in this decision as well. He maybe thinks that his voice isn't getting the same response in the dressing room. He thinks it's time to take himself out that situation and allow them to get a different authoritative voice in there. I think it's a shame. I think Dave Martindale and Livingston are victims of their own success. I don't think anyone expected them to come back up straight away. I think everyone thought when they went down that they were just going to kind of drift and find a kind of level, probably middle of the championship, occasional playoffs, and maybe I don't think anyone expected them to come back that quickly. I think it's a tremendous job to do that, but I think they maybe weren't quite as equipped for the top flight as they were. I think Livingston accept that as well. The owners, I think, know that the new regime know that it's probably an early return that they weren't quite ready for it. Excuse me. I don't think about a huge panic if it did go down. I think it's almost accepted if it go down. I wouldn't be surprised if they would go down. I wouldn't be surprised if they would go down, and then you go, Davey, come back in again and do the rebuild. Yeah. Listen, I think, but I would actually like to see Dave Martin. I said this before in this show. I'd love to see him try his hand somewhere else. I'd love to see him in charge. Not trying to get him a job now, but in the future, I'm talking about in charge of a Camargue or a Motherwell or these kind of teams. Listen, maybe even an Aberdeen and all these things. I think he's a really good coach, a great manager. I'd love to see him tested with somebody else. And I know he is the Livingston. He's been behind the whole rise of the club, and he's in the bricks. I'd love to see him tested somewhere else. See how he gets on. I think he'll be back in the Livingston dugout at some point.
What do you think of his presence there? I mean, is it fair on Marvin Bartley? Like this guy who has this great reputation at the club, and as you say, he's been part of the rise.
Listen,
I mean, I'm sure Marvin Bartley won't have a problem with it because obviously he.
Well, it's like 3 or 4 bad results in he'll come back down and help us out again. I get that. So it's not ideal for Marvin. He works closely with Davey anyway. Excuse me. Again, I can see Davey being back in the dugout next season for Livingston. But I just like to see somebody give him a chance. Go and give him a chance and see what he can do.
I agree with you. And he's a great character, isn't he? I know that's.
I think not. Forget all. That's true. But I think he's a good coach. And you watch the way his teams perform. I think he's been a wee bit ambitious this year. The way he's tried to get Livingston to play, and it's not really worked for him. They've got away from that kind of rock solid at the back and set pieces and being direct. They've got away from that a wee bit, and listen, fair play from it trying it, but I think it's maybe backfired a wee bit. But I think he's a good coach. I think it's worth a shot somewhere. But I expect him to be back in that Livingston dugout at some point. Probably in the future. But listen, this weekend, big weekend, Scottish Cup. It's always brilliant. Scottish Cup. I love the Scottish Cup. We've got a few ties that are interesting. Kind of. David and Goliaths, isn't there? Where are the shocks coming, Gav? Who's going to end up getting parked at the cup this weekend?
I'm trying to think what one I picked out last time around. I think it was Camelon. Was it Elgin against Camelon? I can't remember. But anyway, I got it horribly wrong.
Well, I was going to say, can't be that good if you can't remember.
I know, exactly. But I looked through the ties. Heavy odds on in every tie. Apart from Aberdeen Motherwell, so you could take your pick, obviously, between all Premiership clash.
I thought you would say a big shock here. Aberdeen might win it.
I actually think, Michael, believe it or not, here's the shock. I don't think there will be a shock.
So you're going for no shocks?
I actually think there won't be any shocks. But if you absolutely...
Queen's Park, Rangers again, the rerun of the...
Of course, you've got that. But I think if you had to...
Falkirk, Steny.
If you had to force me into one, I think it would be Steny to beat Falkirk. That's a kind
purely because of the local...
Well, you've got the derby... Stenishmere at home, and Gary Naismith.
What do you call that derby? What would you call that? I mean, is it the Forth Valley or something like that?
Know the name of it.
What would they call that?
It must have a name.
The kind of what you say in derby.
But Gary Naismith doing a great job. Just over 30 years since Steny caused one of the biggest ever upsets in Scottish Cup to beat Aberdeen.
Aberdeen.
So
Jimmy calls Aberdeen.
if Gary Naismith gets
Was it called?
no, Willie Moore.
Willie
Oh, it was
Moore,
way back.
you're
I
right.
think 1996.
You're right. Sorry,
So,
Jimmy.
I think Gary Naismith just needs to borrow Terry Christie Flocky duffel coat. Remember Terry Christie
Ah,
Variety,
yeah.
the duffel coat. So that would be the one for me.
I tend to agree with you. I think there's it looks like I don't see too many kind of major shocks, but I'm going to keep my eyes on Dundee United the Spartans. Put out Inverness in the last round. I just think because at some point on Friday night, Jim Goodwin's going to go to bed and he's going to get a flashback of a horrible nightmare of the what do you call it?
Darvel.
The Darvel with Aberdeen. Spartans are in good form. League Two, gone for promotion, but beat Stephen six past East Kilbride the other week. Listen, that would be a monumental. I mean, away from home, it would be one of the biggest shocks of all time. Dundee United, to me, though, are a concern. 4 defeats out of 5. They've only won 4 or 5 league games all season. United, they've not had a great season. I know they've been in a lot of games, but they've not had a great season. Compared to last year, I thought they were outstanding. Coming up and going into Europe. Started this season great as well with the European game. I just think that's one. Listen, I think United will probably stick 4 or 5 past them. But I do think poor Jim will be maybe going to bed with a wee bit of a cold sweat, just thinking, please, not again, not again. And likewise, Rangers fans, the Queen's Park, this will be a chance for them to go and kind of get a wee bit of revenge for last year.
Exercise those ghosts.
Yeah.
Just by the way, it's just called the Falkirk Derby for your info.
The Falkirk Derby?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Now, Michael, just to round off, we'll switch sports to your favourite golf.
So I'm still thinking, I'm taking a name for this. We need to get a name for it.
I hope it's that. Anyway, we're only a month into 2026, but it's already been a disastrous year so far for LIV Golf. Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, and now Bryson DeChambeau all announcing that they're going to quit LIV Golf. Do you think is a controversial format, obviously right from the very start, with the breakaway and all that? There was a lot of kind of bitterness.
Yeah.
Do you think it's now doomed?
Well, Bryson's not jumped ship yet. He's still there.
But he's going to, is it?
Well, he's having a wee bit of a moan about it. I mean, I think the question is it doomed? I think it might be.
Sorry, you're right. He's saying it's not what he signed up for.
Yeah, I mean, they've moved to kind of 72-hole format, and he said that's not what we signed up for. We only wanted the 54.
Yeah.
He's been fully on board with it, but I guess that's what $500 million would do that to you. I think I mean, that would tend to get you on board, wouldn't it? Brooks Koepka going back to the PGA Tour is a big one. I mean, 5-time major winner, one of the all-time greats. Patrick Reed as well, a guy in great form, a big name, big character. I know he's not particularly liked by some. I just think, it made its move. It was big and bold. I'm just wondering what likes of John Rahm are thinking now, having jumped ship, and especially now with the PGA Tour having kind of relaxed some of the kind of the barriers to getting back. They kind of they're a wee bit wishy-washy. I think some of the guys on the PGA Tour might not be too chuffed. It's such an easy way to get back in. I mean, guys like John Rahm could probably walk. A bit like Koepka could probably walk straight back in again, having already banked $700 million. And you think, oh, that's a genius move for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So either way, I think you're going to see that the format hasn't really caught on. I think LIV Golf is the problem because I think the PGA Tour has hit back hard and increased the funds, and it's helped a lot of guys in that tour to make a lot of money. But I think you see the rise of kind of YouTube golf as well. People are consuming golf differently. And I think LIV thought they could slot into that market, but the format never really caught a light. The group, the team thing never really. I mean, some of the names of the teams. I mean, like, oh my goodness. I mean, the Four Aces, the Majestics, and all that. What's it called? The Cliques and all that. It just never caught on. I mean, even on a national basis might have been more interesting. But I mean, just nonsense. I mean, just some of the names they come up with. Some marketing guy made millions selling these things. You're like, oh, my goodness. I've seen Patrick Reed, I'll be cheering on the Four Aces all season. I will you, Patrick. I sure he will. Who's in that team again? Anyway, I think it might be doomed. They made an aggressive move. The Saudi backed, obviously. It seems to be it's lost momentum. I mean, you lose momentum, there's only going one way.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. But anyway, once I set my golf YouTube channel up, that'll overtake the whole lot.
I'll subscribe. Don't worry, I'll like and subscribe.
Watching a middle-aged duffer carving up as on a parade golf course. But anyway, thankfully we're not doomed at any point to anytime soon. We're talking about the Oxlade Chamberlain, the Ox, but we've been talking bull for the last half an hour. So thanks as always for watching and listening. Like that. Don't forget, as a youngster says, smash that like button, smash the button, like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and all your usual outlets. As always, thanks for your comments. Last week we were called everything from being top guys to clowns, everything in between.
Yeah.
Somebody says, is this a parody of what? I don't know.
It was. I mean, I'm glad we can laugh at ourselves. That Djokovic one, when we're actually talking about him as he's on court, I think he was a set down. We had him retired, but not only had we written him off the game, and it was. I had to laugh actually when we came out. I mean, I don't think it would even been published on this. And then I had to phone you to say you'll never believe this. Djokovic has won, and then all I noticed from then on X. Picking up the paper the next day was Djokovic saying, "Oh, these stupid critics who had me retired." That was wonderful.
I actually thought he might have seen his post-match press conference saying, "And you, Gavin Berry, I managed to catch up with game on. I had been in retirement at home." But anyway, we'll have to fight another day.
So if you are watching this, just ignore that. Stay out. Your tip.
You notice how we stayed clear of the Friday night game. St Mirren and Airdrie. We stayed clear of that one because we'll get caught with that one again. But as I say, thanks for watching, folks, and we'll catch you again next week.